Hey guys, it's Nolan here. So you've probably seen videos like this or this and thought to yourself, wow, that's expensive. How could I get into PC gaming in 2024, you know? You have all these expensive things, RTX 4090s, 3090s, all this shit, thousands of dollars, and you've thought to yourself, well, how could I build something that I could use on a daily basis in game, but for, under half the cost for 75% less than that? Well, today I want to teach you my process and what I personally do to get the best deals and to build a nice budget gaming PC even in 2024. So, thank you guys for watching. Here's the video. Okay, so first things first, you're going to want to open up eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, anything where you could just buy used. That's your best option because realistically, on the new market, you're not going to get very good deals for just budget PCs. So you're going to look on eBay, and what I'd recommend is typing in Dell Workstation. So this will just give you a nice shell, a nice base to work on so you can build your gaming PC. So these are kind of expensive, so you might notice there's some $400 ones, 130, not bad, but this one is looking good. And most of the time, you aren't going to get a drive, so no SSD or hard drive, and probably not a very good graphics card. But this option looks pretty good. Dell Precision T3600, Intel Xeon E5 1603. I think that's probably a 4-core, 4-thread. That's probably good enough for our purposes. 16 gigs of RAM, no hard drive. So this looks good, and you want to avoid things that say small form factor, because then you'd have to buy a different type of graphics card, and it wouldn't fit in here. I'm not too sure about the power supply or anything, but this looks pretty good, so let's add this to the cart. So this is a pretty good deal. I take this. So already we're only at $50. And now another option would be to look up Dell Optiplex. And I found some good deals here already. Some of these you probably have to add some RAM to, but this one's pretty good. i7 3770, 4 gigs of RAM, no hard drive. So you'd probably have to add in RAM to this, but other than that, i7 3770, 4-core, 8-thread. You don't even have to know the specifics of the CPU or anything, but this is also a pretty good deal. So we could add that to the cart. Next thing you're going to want to do is to get some storage. So if you want to be really cheap about this, you could get just one solid hard drive. They're pretty cheap, so already that's probably not a good deal. Yeah, you could get a 1 terabyte hard drive for about $10. That's what I'd pay for it. So you could just add that to cart. But if you want to get speed and you don't mind paying a little extra, I'd recommend getting an SSD. Now, an SSD is a lot faster than a hard drive, and I'd recommend it for just your boot drive for any PC nowadays, whether it be SATA, M.2, NVMe, anything like that. So if we could see if there's any good deals, here's actually one that I checked out. So you could get as big as you want, but I'd recommend just getting an SSD and then a hard drive for your games and stuff. So $19 for a 240 gigabyte SSD. That's decent. Let's add that to the cart. And with all this here, we have $86.44. Now that's a pretty good base. Now for the final and most important step is to buy a graphics card. Now this is pretty much the most important thing to run your games other than your CPU and RAM. So what I would recommend is just typing RX 580. This you could buy anything you want, depending on the deals. Let's just go buy it now. Some of these good condition, $59 shipping, $60 flat. We probably want the 8 gigabyte version. So what I'd recommend is just to buy either an RX 580 or we could do GTX 1060 6 gigabyte. That's good. Now, what do we have here? It's about the same price, pre-owned. So we have $70, and then the cheapest RX 580 we could kind of find just off the bat is $60 for a 4 gig. So let's go NVIDIA here. We could do the $70, so let's add that to the cart. Go to cart. So with all this, we have a graphics card, some storage. You don't even really need the hard drive here, and your base PC, we're up to $156.43. And if we want to take some of this off, we could just upgrade this later, and we have $146, and that'll give you a pretty good basic gaming PC. Another thing you might want to do is to get a SATA to 6-pin adapter, because your power supply might not support this. And these are pretty cheap, so I'd probably just get this. It's more than likely going to be pretty safe. You won't explode your computer, burn your house down, or anything. Just be careful, make sure you get a highly rated one, and boom, you have $150. And the next step, I'll be teaching you how to actually assemble all this. You want to take this end of your power splitter or connector or whatever and plug it into this. It's called SATA, whatever. I already plugged one in just for the sake of convenience. And you're just going to want to put this in like so. If I could do this with one hand. I'll give you a close-up. So you just plug that in. It's pretty simple. You just plug that in right there. And now you have a 6-pin. Or in this case, it's actually an 8-pin. You don't even need that. So let's take this 6-pin that you just plugged up for power. And you're going to take this, and here's your graphics card right there. There's a little clip right there that you need to lock on this edge right here. So just put that in, clip it down, make sure your GPU's in place, and boom, your gaming PC is pretty much complete. I didn't put the storage in. I'll teach you how to do that in the next step. For this next step, you want to take your storage, hard drive, SSD, doesn't matter, it's all the same nowadays. Just how you connect it. So here's your SATA power, and you just want to take that and plug it in just like you did to that adapter. Right there, that's your power. So you have power now, and now you need your data cable, and this goes into this plug in your motherboard. It's the same on both ends. There's a slot that just connects to that, and now you put that to the left of your power, and boom. Now you're going to want to mount this, either if it's an SSD and your case doesn't have this, you could use double-sided tape. If it's an SSD, you can more than likely just tuck it in there. But there's actually screws, there's holes here to screw it in, so you just put it in here or wherever it mounts to, and then you screw it in from the other side, and that is how you have a gaming PC. Now after that, you don't plug in like HDMI, DVI, whatever you have to here. This is your integrated graphics. You want to plug that into here. So plug like your HDMI, DVI, or whatever into this part right here, the graphics card. And then you put your power supply, a cable right there, in your power supply. Keyboard, mouse, whatever you want, plug into USB. You guys know how to do that, even if you don't know how to build a computer. Once you have that, you turn on the power button, and you're good to go. I didn't teach you how to install Windows or anything. There's plenty of guides on YouTube to teach you how to do that. I could teach you in a later video, but for now, goodbye. Thank you. I hope you learned something.